Welcome to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast with your host, Brandon Seigel. I'm a published author, speaker, entrepreneur, and private practice strategist dedicated to transforming the way that healthcare functions. This podcast is all about empowering you to create the change you want to see. Let's dive in. Welcome back. In this episode, we're talking about new year, new benefits, strategies to optimizing your insurance verification process. Now, I want to tell you, there is nothing I hate more than the first of the year benefit reset. It's a nightmare, am I right? Whether it be the insurance companies sitting on hold, and I know a lot of you are like, oh, we do the electronic thing. It's really easy. There's a lot of mistakes that happen right now because the electronic data is not always accurate when it comes to data being loaded and having all the details necessary to project full expense for a client and coverage areas. So I want to be crystal clear that when we verify insurance benefits, we're checking not just eligibility. What is the eligibility? The eligibility is like, do they have this benefit? Do they have insurance coverage? But we're also checking the benefits. We're also checking what is applicable within the benefits. Are there exclusions? Are there any things that we need to know, inclusive of code audits and cost analysis and caps and the way that benefits intersect and all those different things? Because one of the things that's hard is, typically speaking, I can't check. If I'm going to see a client on January 2nd, I can't check their benefit till January 2nd. So they come in and they just forget. They're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, don't pay us because we don't know what the story is. We're going to check your benefits. And then they come back a week later or whatever, or maybe they don't, and you send them a bill and they're like, oh my gosh, it's $180. I didn't realize. And all of a sudden you're like, well, yeah, your deductible reset January 1st. They're like, yeah, but we didn't know it cost $180. They're like, sorry, we thought you knew that. And we told you we were going to check your benefits. And they're upset because they're like, I wouldn't have come and I would have waited until my deductible got met so that I could have come to you. And this is where I say, okay, we need to educate them. And here's the first education. Whether you have a $5,000 deductible, $2,500 deductible, $500 deductible, insurance ain't paying you squat until you meet it. So you can either meet it by coming to me or meet it to coming to someone else. And my hope is I am a priority to you. So that $180 that's going to go towards your $500 deductible, why wait? You're going to have to pay it no matter what. And I want to be crystal clear. If anyone ever says that they are getting credit for a deductible amount being met without paying in cash the same dollar amount, that is fraud. Very clear. That is fraud. So what that means is if they say, hey, I went to this doctor and they collected $100, but they're posting it as a $500 charge. So I'm getting the credit of $500 towards my deductible, even though I'm only physically paying $100. That is fraud. Don't do it. You're going to end up behind bars, orange and black, not our color. So don't forget, every single dollar that posts towards a deductible is dollars that come out of the subscriber's pocket. So when we look at our core strategies for preparing for the first of the year, there's a couple things I want you to look at. Number one, I want you to identify previously discharged patients due to benefit exhaustion. Why are we doing that? We want to look at who got discharged based on benefit exhaustion because you got it. They're going to come in again. Now, all of a sudden it's, hey, John, guess what? We know that we had to stop seeing you in October, but first of the year, can we get you scheduled? Your benefit resets. Let's make it happen. Now, I want to also mention something. When you're checking benefits, it's really important for you to understand if there is a appointment or treatment cap to the benefit that you're checking. If that visit counts towards the treatment cap, while they are accruing towards their deductible, because there's rare circumstances where that happens, where it's like, hey, I met my deductible, but now I have no visit cap remaining. Again, it's rare, but I have seen it happen in some rare circumstances. So checking that's really important. But number 2 strategy when we're preparing for the first of our year, we want to secure a patient commitment for the upcoming calendar year. I don't want you checking benefits only to find out they're not going to come in. That's a waste. So both discharged and current patients, you want to get acceptance. Starting in October, we start to have that conversation. Hey, we're about 3 months. Do you know if you want to continue services? And again, in some cases, depends if you're doctors or what you are, but really making sure that you have that. If you're a frequent visit client, you want to know if they're coming back in. What I say is if someone stops services for 90 days or longer, you almost have to treat them like a readmittance when they come see you in the future. That may include new evals, new patient paperwork, etc. Number 3 strategy for preparing for the first of the year, under promise, over deliver. You got it. We want to under promise, over deliver on coverage expectations, quote out all patients based on full contracted rates. Assume the deductible applies if they had a hard deductible in the past. What do I mean by that? So here's the deal. You've got a $500 deductible, right? That visit, they're used to paying $20. You're like, well, I don't know what the cost is going to be for your appointment. I'm like, what's the worst case scenario? Oh, worst case scenario is $320. So I want to tell that patient, I need you prepared for a $320 expense when you come in, and that will be directly applied. Whatever the dollar amount is going to be, it will not exceed $320. It may be less, but I want you prepared for $320. I want to under promise, over deliver, because at the end of the day, you're like, Brandon, it's not going to be $320. I'm like, I don't care that you say it won't be. I'd rather them prepared for the worst, because when you say, oh, it's only $85, like, oh, thank you so much. I was prepared for $320. That feels so good. Versus they're prepared for $80 and it costs them $320. You get what I'm saying. Number 4, I want you to batch your verification by insurance payer. What that means, you're going to organize all of the insurance IDs with all of the insurance payers, and you're going to do all of the Anthem Blue Cross of California with one swing. You're going to do all of the UHC of Texas with one swing. You're going to do all of the Cigna with one swing, so that you're not just going, oh, I did a Blue Cross, then I did a UHC, then I did that. You're going to batch it by payer. Same with managed care, same with specialty subgroups within those different insurances, whether it be a care source and all those different factors. So we want to batch it like a machine so we're efficient, and then we divide and conquer. Next thing I want you to recognize as a core strategy, I want you to only schedule patients in first 4 weeks of the year that are willing to take on full financial liability. So every single client that comes in, and granted, you're like, Brandon, I'm Medicaid. Okay, well, that's its own thing. But again, with Medicaid, that eligibility changes so frequently, you better have a really good resource for making sure electronically you can track whether they change groups, whether they have active coverage, all of those different things. We need to make sure we are measuring the liability of every single patient consistently. And so that's really important. Number 6 on our strategy for preparing for the first of the year, I want you to let patients opt in to be seen without formal verification, or if they prefer to be on hold until full verification is completed. What do I mean by that? Hey, Jason, we're not going to have a full verification of benefits done. It might take 2 to 6 business days, depending on how the insurances are processing things. We can keep you on our caseload, and this is what your out-of-pocket worst-case scenario is going to be processed as. Otherwise, we will contact you and put you back in the schedule after. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, hey, Brandon, I can't afford to lose that production. You can't afford to treat someone that's not going to pay for services. So if they come in, they have to assume and take on full responsibility over that visit. Here's some additional strategies to keep in mind. I want you to leverage technology for efficiency. I want you to utilize electronic eligibility tools, recognizing it does not replace necessarily phone calls, but it's helping you. So whether that's Availity, Waystar, Change, LG Pro, you name it, there's lots of different tools. And there's even now tools that can do the dialing for dollars for you and get you with someone so that you get the full verification. But we need to be able to check both our eligibility and qualitatively what the value of those benefits are in terms of exclusions and any kind of things that might affect full coverage of that service. We want to train staff and we want to optimize workflow. So we want to train our administrative staff to prioritize those batch calls using patient payer portals as a starting point, but recognize that's just a starting point. And we want to provide scripts for payer interactions to standardize the data collection. And so assign a dedicated team member to handle the verifications during the first 2 weeks of January to manage that volume. It could be very beneficial. Now, something that I do, I create a verification of benefits resource guide. I give it to every family. It's got every procedure code that we will utilize so that they understand, and we'll categorize it based on the type of services that they come in for. So we'll look at that look back period of applicable codes that they may want to verify. And it literally is like the how-to guide. Put your name, put your insurance ID, ask these questions. What are the exclusions? Can these be combined on the same day? All those different things. What's the out-of-pocket max? What is the family deductible? In-network, out-of-network, all of those things, very crucial. We need to also recognize that just because someone has Blue Cross doesn't mean that we are in network with their Blue Cross, depending on how you structure your contracts. Everything's different. Sometimes we opt out of certain payers within a contract. So understanding that is really important. We must have proactive communication with patients. We must be ideally starting in October, November, sending multiple reminders to patients. Have them submit their updated insurance cards, confirming no changes via patient portal, reducing the data entry so that they're proactive in understanding benefits and where things are changing. Most clients operate on a calendar year deductible. Some, though, will operate on a plan year renewal deductible. That is something you should look at and you should have clearly documented. Clearly explain the verification policy, the financial policy, the way the deductibles reset, what that out-of-pocket max is going to be, what that deductible max is going to be, and what the worst case scenario is. And when we start this process, we want to make sure that we have a good faith estimate that is still applicable. So chances are we may do a good faith estimate based on worst case scenarios in that fourth quarter so that we're already preparing people for the new year so they understand where things are running in terms of total cost, total liability that the patient is taking on. It's really important that we monitor and audit these things. So we want to conduct daily audits during the first 2 weeks of January to ensure that no patients are seen without verified benefits and without signed financial agreements. One of the issues that sometimes happens is that we do same-day booking. And in that same-day booking, our team forget the importance and urgency of the benefit side. They're like, oh, I just need to fill the spot, and they plug them in, and they're like, oh, I didn't realize they didn't get scheduled. We want to flag who has been assigned verification of benefits and financial policies and who doesn't. Have a green mark and a red mark. We need to categorize them, color code them, make it known so that you are really tracking the verification time and when the error rates come up, and you're refining workflows appropriately. So here are some eligibility hacks for streamlining benefit verification. I am not endorsing this, but I am more giving you a perspective. Did you know that there are artificial intelligence powered automated phone verification systems? They are not cheap. So I want to be clear. They are not cheap. But what if you were to deploy an AI-based HIPAA-compliant VA that can make automated calls to insurance companies to verify benefits? I found a tool called SuperDial. There are other tools like Infinitus Systems, Rhyme AI, and others that use natural language processing to navigate payer phone systems to extract eligibility data based on the script I give them. Yes, I can give my entire insurance resource guide. They can digest all of that data. And you know what? Boom! They can actually produce a relevant, consistent verification of benefits eligibility for me beyond just are they eligible or not. So, how it works, the AI bot is programmed to handle payer-specific prompts, wait times, and verification scripts. It can process multiple patients in a batch, like all of the Aetna patients, and it delivers structured data, deductible amounts, out-of-pocket maxes, exclusions, visit limits, all of that, without any human intervention. Pretty amazing. It ain't, I'm being honest, it's only going to get better. So the benefit is this is going to reduce staff time spent, hold time, navigating complex phone calls, and you can run 24/7 handling of high volumes in early January, provided the insurances are open. The other thing is you can integrate some of these with EHRs and EMRs and train the AI with those payer-specific scripts. So I recommend that you're testing this in October, November, December, and rolling it out, obviously, January. Like racing, leadership is about precision and timing. From January 28th through the 31st of 2026 in Coral Gables, Florida, the Growth Code Conference delivers frameworks, tools, and insights to help you lead with clarity and operate at peak performance. No wasted laps, so register today at growthcodeconference.com. Another hack you may look at is batch eligibility APIs with real-time payer data. So we're sometimes finding that, like Medicaid and different things, we can track real-time payer data. So there may be APIs, whether it be Availity or Change Healthcare or Waystar or LG Pro or different things like that. So you want to check what APIs are integrating with your EHR and practice management system to automate batch eligibility checks. It could be as simple as upload a patient roster filtered by payer to the API, which queries payer databases, returns the detailed data directly into the EMR, and flags any errors or unverifiable cases so that you can follow up accordingly. The benefit of this is it's going to eliminate your individual payer portal logins or calls. So I've done this in the occupational physical speech therapy space with Medicaid. We've had huge success with Eligibility Pro. That's been a system that's been really successful on the eligibility of Medicaid and real-time daily checks on Medicaid. So just as an example. Another thing is patient-driven benefit checks via the guided portals. So empower your patients to check their own benefits. Give them the VOB guides. Let them call. Let them check. Let them work and provide you a digital eligibility breakdown with a checklist that you give them with step-by-step and reminders. So in October, November, send patients a checklist via email or patient portal. Tell them how to either log in, make the phone calls, what questions they need, and do all of those things to cross-reference so that they have a guide and that they're taking on some of this responsibility. The benefit is it offloads initial data collection to patients. It reduces staff workload. It aligns with your accountability approach by re-engaging your patients early. So create a simple payer-specific guide. Use automated reminders via text and email to prompt compliance by mid-October into December. Verifying patient submitted data, understanding they can't check it till the first of the year. What you're doing is you're grooming them to take responsibility in January 1. And what you might do is you may say, this is what January 1 would look like if your benefits never changed and just your deductible reset. But it can obviously change based on the way that your benefit plan may change. So another hack or idea would be to hire virtual assistants for pre-verification data cleanup. There are some incredible organizations out there. You could employ virtual assistants, whether it be human or AI driven. One of the human driven virtual assistant companies I love is Virtual Rockstar. They're rock stars. They're great. There are other tools like Olive and other things that can help, but really recognizing which VA firm is the right one for you is crucial. I work with 3 firms, so I have all different firms depending on what I'm trying to achieve. That VA can really, if they're HIPAA, you want to make sure they're HIPAA certified, they've got the right system, the right background, etc. Very, very, very important to your process. Another thing is smart scheduling with provisional holds. So you may be able to utilize AI-driven scheduling tools like Kairos to place January appointments on a provisional hold until benefits are verified. Patients receive automated notifications and they agree to the full liability, in which once that is done, they get scheduled. The scheduling system will flag unverified patients. It will send reminders to submit insurance data or agree to financial responsibility. The AI is prioritizing verification for those early January appointments, batching by payer, releasing holds once benefits or financial liability is released, etc. The benefit is this prevents unverified patients from being seen, and it aligns with your accountability approach and reduces last-minute cancellations by setting clear expectations. You could configure this scheduling tool to integrate with eligibility APIs or AI verification systems. Another way would be crowdsourced eligibility bots for payer portals. So there's robotic process automation bots, UiPath, Automation Anywhere to log into payer portals, scrape eligibility data from multiple patients via batch. This is another way. How it works, bots are programmed to access those payer portals. And so finding right softwares that do this in your sector is really important. Going into Cigna, going into United Healthcare, and they are trained to do that. So working with an IT vendor to set up RPA bots and with secure credentials, test in October, November, December, go live in January, same kind of thing. So I am a huge believer in what I call the insurance resource guide. And this resource guide is the basic rules of how to check, verify insurance coverage, benefits, and stipulations to be aware of. The reason why we do this is, one, it reduces your administrative workload. By equipping patients with a clear step-by-step guide, they're able to check their own benefits. The practice offloads initial data collection and verification tasks. Patients are able to gather critical data, and they're taking on full liability as a result. Instead of spending 30 minutes per patient calling, you can put that on the patient. This aligns with your batch strategy, and it doesn't mean you still won't do it, but you may have them check it, submit it, and then do your own verification. This could free up your administrative staff. Number two, it empowers patients and enhances accountability. This guide is going to educate patients. Again, your job is to deliver healthcare. You're accepting the insurance and their rate as a benefit to the employee, but you should not be giving up liability. You're here to provide a service, and the service is not being an insurance company. The service is to provide healthcare. You're accepting a contracted rate. There should still be liability and action steps that are assigned to the patient in order to ensure they know, because they're picking their insurance. When I go in for healthcare, I have to recognize I'm taking on full liability. And that is why I'm really specific in which insurance companies I pick, what plans I utilize, and how I optimize FSAs and HSAs in different ways to offset my risk. Three, the number three way that I like value in this insurance resource guide is it improves accuracy of benefits because everyone is operating with the right questions. They're collecting precise details. We've got continuity. We're understanding all the nuances to insurance because it's a set guideline for each payer, each service type, etc. So this guide will have that full Q&A checklist of every single, it's like, think of it this way. The insurance resource guide is Mad Libs. If you don't remember Mad Libs, go pick some up. But it's literally like, Brandon went to the doctor for blank CPT code. When asking the insurance company, these are the 10 questions he asked. What is my coverage limit? What is my this? What is my that? All those different things. That's all helping you improve consistency, continuity, and accuracy of benefits. The other thing it does is it streamlines communication with payers. The guide is going to standardize questions patient asks so that insurance is more consistent. Does my plan cover CPT code 90834 with this provider? And are there any other prior authorization requirements? You know, it saves time, it creates consistency, it also prevents back and forth. Number 5, I think it enhances the patient experience and trust. We're showing transparency. We're demonstrating our commitment to helping educate parents and patients so that they understand how to navigate the complex insurance system. One of the most stressful times ever, I remember, was when we had our first child. We had an emergency C-section, the whole bit, and we did not know what to expect. No one prepped us or anything. And I think it was about 45 days after the birth of my daughter, I got a bill for $40,000. I was not expecting a $40,000 bill. And what I came to find out was that they utilized an anesthesiologist that was out of network. And that anesthesiologist was trying to bill us direct. And it was a bill that I did not expect. Fortunately, I knew medical billing. So I was able to call the provider, reprocess, tell them that they billed it wrong and all those different things, and it got paid. How many of you would know what to do if you got stuck with a $40,000 bill? It's really important that we're creating these education guides so that that patient doesn't get stuck with a bill they don't expect, that they understand the way that they operate. They understand the way that procedure codes operate. They understand the way that packages operate. They understand what their liability truly is. That's part of the reason why we do good faith estimates. So insurance resource guide and good faith estimate should go hand in hand. They're two different things though. So in addition to enhancing that patient experience and trust, it helps us mitigate financial risk to the practice. It allows us to place, hey, you're just as responsible as us to ensure we understand the benefits of your payer. So we're each going to do this. And then it's supporting scalability because there's high volume periods where you're going to need help for more than what you can provide. And so utilizing that as a tool to help people get educated on what their coverage limits are and what their deductible is and what that looks like is really, really important. So here are some key components to creating an effective insurance resource guide. To maximize value, the guide should include step-by-step instructions, how to log into patient portals, what scripts they need, how to make a phone call, what to ask, what are the most do's and don'ts, specific questions. Is my provider in network? Does my plan cover the specific CPT codes? Has my 2025 deductible, will it reset? What is the remaining amount? Are there exclusions for telehealth, family therapy, specific procedures? Are there any visit limits or prior authorization requirements for these procedure codes? What is the out-of-pocket max, copay, coinsurance, in-network, out-of-network? How does my family deductible and family max work versus my individual? Recognizing those things is really helpful. Providing a procedure code list, providing a glossary of terms, deductible, coinsurance, exclusion, helping them understand that jargon is going to be really helpful. A financial responsibility notice, a reminder that patients are liable of services if benefits are unverified or excluded with a link to a signed digital agreement. Payer contact lists, helping them understand how to navigate and read their insurance cards. These are all things with how-to guides that can be really beneficial. So, our implementation tips. I want you to offer the guide as a downloadable PDF on your website, patient portal, as well as a QR code. I want you to create a short video version. I want in that video version for you to have an actual dummy video of you following all the steps with an insurance agent. I want you to distribute this between October and November via email, text, and portal notifications with reminders throughout December, emphasizing January benefits resetting and the need for updated information. I want you to use patient engagement, use clear, non-technical language to incentivize the compliance and requirements. We need your staff trained. We need them to understand and review patient-submitted data and cross-check with payers, flagging any discrepancies from manual verification. Integrate technology. Use the tools you can. Parse the data to the best of your ability. These are all things that are going to help you. And why this adds value, it cuts administrative time. It reduces errors and it protects revenue by ensuring accurate benefits, data, and patient accountability are in alignment. For patients, it's going to simplify a complex process. It's going to clarify financial obligations. It's going to foster trust through education. And for efficiency, we're going to complement batch verification AI tools, and provisional scheduling by providing reliable, patient-sourced data, enabling scalable operations in January. So, we need to underpromise. We need to overdeliver. We need to show worst-case scenarios. So I want you to set clear, conservative expectations up front. I want you to utilize provisional appointment scheduling with liability agreements. I want you to have transparent communications about deductibles, out-of-pocket maxes, co-insurance, co-pays. We do not wait for EOBs. We process based on benefit amounts. The practices that wait for EOBs, I'm sorry, you're going to run into issues. Your cash flow, it's harder to collect later. It's easier to reimburse. So I want you to collect everything up front. When someone tells you my deductible has been met and you don't see it, you do not treat that the deductible has been met until you see it. Words are cheap. You must verify before you accept that. Batch verification process with positive framing, patient resource guide as a communication tool, proactive delay warning. These are all things that I want you to do. Here are some last minute reminders for staff preparation. I want you to reinforce the importance of patient financial responsibility agreements. I want you to recognize that no margin, no mission. No money, no honey. If they're not willing to go unpaid, we're not willing to go unpaid. Prioritize your batch verification. Assume deductibles are unmet until verified. Enforce provisional scheduling for early January and leverage your patient resource guide. Prepare for payer delays in communication. Double check your technology and tools. Audit and monitor early January workflow. Train on patient communication scripts, and encourage team coordination and morale boosters. This is a hard time. We need to come together to help support our staff because more money is collected from a patient in the first 3 months of the year than any other time of year usually. So we want to make sure they're ready for that. Did you know in 2025, TBRA's survey notes that practices optimizing benefit verification reduced claim denials by 22%, saved $10,000 per provider annually. This stuff works. In the words of Sanford I. Weil, the former CEO of Citigroup, details create the big picture. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Private Practice Survival Guide. Don't forget, like us, subscribe, interact with us, be part of this because together we can thrive. Say it with me, not just survive. Thank you for tuning in to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. I'm incredibly grateful to each and every one of you. Exciting news. We're now available everywhere, from Spotify to Apple Podcasts to YouTube or anywhere you like to listen to your podcasts. So watch, listen, and reach out. If you love this episode, please drop a 5-star review. It truly means the world to me. Are you looking for more ways to elevate your practice? If so, now is your chance. Reach out, go to my website, or email me at brandon@wellnessworksmp.com. And remember, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.